So you met your hero and she turned out to be a disappointment. You met your hero and she turned out to be narcissistic, manipulative. You met your Shero and she turned out to be a bitch. So this is something that I have had on my heart for some time. And I'm finally bringing it to the fireside to expose it for what it truly is out here in these streets. Ladies, girls, if you're watching this too, I know what you're experiencing. I know what you're going through. I know the disappointment you may have experienced. You met your hero, you met your Shero, and she was not at all like you thought she would be. You see her online, you see her videos, you probably seen, maybe she's a singer, you've seen her, you've been to her concerts, maybe she's a model, you've watched her on runways, or you've seen her in magazines, maybe she's a journalist, if you read some things she's written. I don't know, maybe she's a speaker, maybe she's a tennis player, maybe she's some sort of something, and you finally met her, had a conversation with her, or you just crossed paths with her and felt her energy, and she turned out to be a disappointment. I guess this is what they mean when they say, don't meet your heroes, right? I'm bringing this up because this is something that has hit home for me too. And I want to expose it here on the fireside. So when we, or I, obviously, if you've been here for some time, you know that I talk about power and superpower and women being in our power and how fear of feminine power is a mental disorder and redefining pussy power, what that really is, how it has nothing to do with putting it on a man, how it has nothing to do with being manipulative and narcissistic. I have seen way too many times to count women that I've met, that I've crossed paths with, who claim to be for women, supporting women, uplifting women, who claim to care about women and girls. But when you meet them, they are the main ones that are in competition with women and girls. They are the main ones who are swinging their proverbial balls to see whose is bigger. I have met these women myself. I have met a couple of women who I respected. I watched their YouTube channels. I watched some of their content. And when I had a conversation with them, or just happened to, I bumped into one in a Whole Foods one time, and I had a conversation with one over the phone one time. The one that I bumped into in a Whole Foods, I can't even describe what that interaction was. It was the strangest thing. She went from, oh, thank you for following me, to, I hope you're not one of those ones who's been doing spell work or something strange like that. Doing spell work on her. The one that I had a conversation with over the phone, she says to me, well, who do you think you are? What are you going to do? Because I'm the original anomaly. This is something that she said to me. Whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. When they say never meet your heroes, it's been a disappointment. And I understand why there's been so much mistrust and distrust in seeing women, especially, I can put it out here because I am a melanin woman and I know the experiences of melanin women. This is my experience culturally and intersectionally, okay? So I can say this shit because I am in the experience. But way too many times I have seen women, especially melanin women, not be who they say they are, not be who they appear to be online. I saw a video from Cardi B one time on Instagram. This was, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. And she said, some of y'all be lying. You know how she talks. Respect to you, Cardi B. I love your come up. Some of y'all be lying. Some of y'all out here saying you for women. Y'all be lying. You're not for women. You don't care. And I understood what she meant. When I saw that video, I knew exactly what she was talking about. And I see a lot of that coming from us melanin women. I understand why there's so much mistrust and distrust when you see women-driven platforms. You see a woman-ran and operated company or organization, or even seeing Fireside Chats for Global Women. There's probably plenty of you out there who don't trust me because you've been burned so many times. I fucking get it. So have I. That's why I created Fireside Chats for Global Women. That was part of the reason why I was called to create Fireside Chats, why I was called to create this platform. There's a lot of distrust because there's been a lot of us being emotionally, spiritually burned by our heroes, by our Sheros. It could be from women who are in much higher positions than we are, making more money than we're making. It's celebrities who are intimidated by the smaller fish in the pond, so to speak. Stealing ideas, taking ideas as if they're their own. Being competitive with creatives and innovators. I understand why there's mistrust and distrust, because there's a lot of wolves in sheep clothing out here. And the thing is, I'm not against being a wolf, right? But if you're a wolf, show up as a wolf so people know what they're getting. Don't come off as if you give a damn about women when you really don't. Don't come off like you give a damn about girls and creating these organizations and grassroots kind of stuff. And, women supporting women and behind closed doors. You are a bitch. You are in competition with her. The moment you see her rise, you try to smite her and cut her down. I understand why there's mistrust for seeing women leaders. I'm gonna go even deeper. I was watching this movie. I could be saying this wrong. It was an African movie, Oloture. I could be saying that wrong. I'm sure if some of you are from the mother continent, please comment the name of the movie in the comment section down below. But I think it was called Oloture, and it's one of my favorite Nigerian actresses in it. I think she's Nigerian. Anyway, it was about sex trafficking. And she was actually an undercover journalist. She went undercover to expose the sex trafficking ring, which was being ran and handled and orchestrated by a group of politicians. Very high-powered politicians, which we know this is truly the story of how sex trafficking works. So she was a journalist and she went undercover. Honey, do you know at the very, very top, the woman, at the very, very top, there was a woman who was the head culprit? I went to a sex trafficking seminar. It delved deep into how the whole ring works, how the setup goes, who's in charge, and it was put on by the Atlanta Medical Association, and it was held on the campus of Morehouse College. And some of the speakers and presenters shared insight, and all of them said at the very, very top was a queen, just like on a chessboard, right? At the very, very top were women, and they have these symbolic tattoos. The women would wear the crown, and then the men would wear a crown too. But they have these symbolic tattoos to let you know who they are and what their ranking is in this whole trafficking thing. But anyway, going back to Oloture, if I'm saying the name right, there was a woman that all of these women trusted. They put their trust in her. Now, they were prostitutes. They couldn't find any other means to make a living. They grew up very, very poor. Was trying to take care of themselves, and they had family members and they had siblings, that they wanted to help and take care of. And so they decided to go into prostitution. And so part of the goal was to get out of prostitution. They wanted to do prostitution, save up enough money so that they could go to, I think they were trying to go to Paris in the movie, or I can't remember where they were trying to go, the UK or somewhere like that. To start over. They want to go there, get jobs, and just, start over. And so there was this woman who they trusted, a few of the women trusted, because supposedly she was the liaison who could help get them, made up passports and birth certificates, help them, cross the country line to get into the next country, and then finally over to their final destination. It was a woman, honey, just like them, looked just like them. She, also an African woman, and they trusted her. And she would tell them, it's going to cost this much for me to help you get over into Paris or whatever. Honey, lo and behold, she was the queen at the top of the sex trafficking ring, working with politicians, high-powered politicians. She would set these girls up to, come to the party. You can meet some powerful people. They go to this party, honey. Next thing you know, a few of the girls are raped. And then the story just goes on and on and on. If you haven't watched it, I suggest you watch it. I think there's going to be a part 2. But I brought that up because, and let me just go back. One of the politicians in the movie who was a part of funding the sex trafficking system had a nonprofit organization of Feed the Homeless Children or something like that. Had an organization of Feed the Children or Help Homeless Children. Had an organization that was supposed to help, combat poverty and combat homelessness and all of this stuff. And they were the part of the funding of what was helping the sex trafficking system be as big as it was and as underground and hidden as it was. They were protected and they were protecting others and they were being protected. So I understand the mistrust and the distrust when it comes to seeing women ahead of organizations that are supposed to be helping others. It's a sad reality. And I sat back in meditation one day and I said, maybe that's not why, maybe this is why there aren't more people viewing my content and listening to what I have to say, because I probably, to them, remind them of the bullshit that's out here. But what I want to say is, if you are a reader of energy, trust what you feel. Don't look at me or any woman that does what I do from a place of fear. Use your discernment. Use your inner GPS. It will tell you everything you need to know about somebody. I understand the fear. I understand the mistrust. I understand the trepidation. I get it because I've seen the women. I've met the women myself who have these 4 women platforms and organizations. And when you meet them, they don't give a damn about you. They only care about that bottom line, that dollar, and seeing what they can get out of you, seeing what they can get from you, seeing what they can steal from you, seeing what they could copy from you. I met them myself. I know there's so many full of shit women out here. And I understand when you see me, you see in Fireside Chats for Global Women, and you think I'm probably just like the rest. I get it. And I don't blame you for believing that. I don't blame you for thinking that. But what I will say is trust your intuition. Trust the vibes you get from me. Trust that. Follow your inner compass. It will tell you everything you need to know about anybody. This is the Aquarian age. The beautiful thing is we are in the Aquarian age. And in the Aquarian age, baby, those things that were once hidden and swept under the rugs are now being revealed. People cannot hide who and what they really are anymore. Even if your inner discernment and inner GPS isn't all the way tuned in, even if you're not all the way tuned into it or tapped into it, you don't even have to be fully enlightened to be able to read energy, because the Aquarian age is going to assist you in being able to read it anyway. So those of you women that are out there faking the funk, pretending that you care about women and girls, creating these organizations, you're fucking it up for the rest of us who actually give a damn, whose purpose this actually is. But that's okay. That's okay. Because the ancient beings see you very, very clearly. And those of you that fake caring about women and girls are being exposed and will be exposed. And I'm seeing 144 on the timer as I'm watching this right now. You will, if you haven't already, will be exposed. People aren't going to allow you to continue. They're going to expose you. Even people who've been on your team, they're going to expose you. They've been working with you. You've been paying them or trying to pay them under the table to do certain things. They're going to expose you. Justice will be served. And those of us whose rightful positions this really is to do this work will be in the positions and you will be removed. Ladies, I understand. I understand. I overstand because I've met some of these women myself. Creating these false airs of care and heart. You know what also I'm thinking about right now? That movie that was on Netflix. It was called I Care a Lot. Have y'all seen that movie, I Care a Lot? Forget the name of the actresses in there. It was a damn good movie because it was eye-opening, right? This woman pretended to care about the elderly, but really she was putting them in their facility. She had doctors on her side, the nurses on her side, psychiatrists on her side to make everything look legitimate, and have the doctors make the elderly people look like they couldn't take care of themselves so that she can cash in on their Medicaid and Medicare or whatever. And she was rolling in the dollars, and it was called I Care a Lot. And she was damn good at what she did because she was a crook. She was a criminal. That's what she did. That's how she made her money. You know? And she was ready for whatever when it came to it, you know? So I get it, ladies. I get that there are a lot of false prophets out here. There are a lot of women out here talking about they care about other women and having women's organizations and tea parties and all of this bullshit, all of this fake stuff. I saw a post from this person, this woman who I had an opportunity, worked in the same atmosphere when I was consulting in the special needs population. I had my own consulting company for years. For 9 years, I consulted independently with providers who rendered services to the special needs population. And there was this one woman that came in to work in HR with one of my clients. And you guys probably, I don't know if you ever read my interview that I had with A1,000,001. This was back in 2020 when they interviewed me about my desire to start Synergy Plus, which is the technology company that I started to help with documentation and compliance auditing. And, you know, this happened in 2020. So I pivoted my whole company from, you know, doing face-to-face consulting to creating that technology. And I was interviewed about why I did that. And part of the reason that I did and shared with the interviewer was I was in a meeting and that HR person, which was a Black female, tried to jump up and fight me in a meeting. It's a whole long backstory, but this woman was so in competition and wanted my position so much so that she lost control of herself. And I never talked about the details of that here on Fireside, but I've written about it. But it was so bad. And I saw, I don't know, maybe like a year later, a post or something of hers on Facebook, or somebody might have shared it with me, which I didn't. Why the hell are you sharing it with me? I don't give a damn, but shared it with me. And this woman says she does taxes or something like that, and saying she loves to help women and having gatherings, women gatherings and shit. You like to help women? I met you personally. I know damn well you don't have any reverence for women. Not at all. I met you personally. I have met you personally. I know you don't give a damn about women. I know that you are messy. I know that you are, I know. So, ladies, I get it. Trust your intuition. Trust what your inner spirit tells you. If it's difficult to trust me and trust what I'm sharing here in Fireside Chats for Global Women, that's okay. I'm guided to share what I'm guided to share. And it's meant for who it's meant for. Even if you don't trust me, for some reason you're still here, you're still subscribed. Maybe you haven't subscribed. Maybe you've never subscribed. Maybe you've never hit the like button on anything I've ever shared. But you know deep down what I say resonates with you on a deep level. You know I speaks the truth. Because it's coming from my place of truth. It's coming from my authenticity. So trust what you feel. and let your spirit guide you on who is real and who is not. And obviously, that's being more and more clear and more apparent every day. So that's what I have to say. If you are out here and you have a women's platform and you're not authentic, you're going to get chewed up and sped out so fast because people see you and they feel you before you even open your mouth. You don't even have to say anything. People can tell in your auric field what they feel from you if you give a damn about them or not. You will no longer be able to hide behind your masks. You'll no longer be able to hide behind your money. You won't be able to hide behind your so-called red bottoms and all this BS, frivolous, outer shit you keep trying to do. People don't care about that shit. They care about where your heart is. And you won't be able to hide anymore.